On this slide, we are going to drag and drop the inequality signs or symbols into the correct spaces below. Here are the inequality signs or symbols. You will recognize them as being referred to as alligator eating the bigger number. That's greater than. We are not going to identify them as alligators anymore. They are going to be greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And this point right here is where it looks like the top of an arrow or the beginning of the arrowhead. So the arrow is pointing in this direction. So this arrow or this inequality sign is pointing to the right because this is where the tip is pointing. This inequality sign right here is pointing to the left because that's where the tip is pointing. Again, there are no alligators eating the bigger numbers. That was before. We are not doing that. We are not trying to find the greater number and identify a greater number. We are just going to be reading these inequality signs. So I'm going to drag this inequality symbol right here because it's less than. When it's pointing this way, it's less than. This one is pointing to the right. Going that way, it's greater than. Now we have these over here that have the line underneath them. That means, so the top we know is less than because it's pointing that way. That bottom line means or equal to. It's like half of an equal sign, the bottom half of an equal sign. So we take this one down here, and that's greater than or equal to. You are going to be referring to these symbols here by these words here. They're no longer going to be pointing to the greater number. Sometimes they'll be pointing to a letter. So we can't think of them as the alligator always eats the bigger number. We were trying to help you guys decide what was less than or greater than when you were working with numbers. Now when you're going into algebra, you need to use the verbiage. This is less than, with it pointing, the pointy part to the left. Greater than, the pointy part points to the right. Less than or equal to, you have the less than sign with the line underneath. This is very important. Greater than or equal to, you have the greater than symbol with the line underneath. This is important because when we go to start to graph these, you need to understand that this is not the same as this. These two are different because of that line. This has no line, this has a line. You need to understand that. So make sure that you have dragged and dropped your inequality symbols or signs to the correct verbiage or the correct statement. And make sure that from now on you refer to it that way. Try and get that alligator out of your mind. He's no longer chomping down bigger numbers.